Check, check, check. Okay, where am I now? I'm on the headset again. See, it says the headset ones are plugged in. I just don't know why the fuck I get no audio out of them. Check, check. Like, there should be audio coming out of them, man. Did you get it? Did we get it? Fucking A. Fucking A. Thank you guys. Whew, I can't believe you guys hung around for that. I appreciate that. Don't stick your head over here. You're not getting none of my sandwiches, bud. We still got sound? Say yeah. Fucking thank you guys. Okay. So we had the Ontario, which is our province, Ontario, right? Election. It was held yesterday. Wasn't really the party I was enthused about one, but hey, what it goes how it goes. I never cry about elections because generally the next time around you can get back to the polls and vote your people in next time. So Doug Ford, he's a conservative guy. Oh, you dirty pricks. Okay, we're gonna have to go to a different page. You want to sell me newspapers? I don't want to buy newspapers. So there we are. Okay. So he called an election, I think a year and a half early, and everyone berated him for it. As far as it goes, um, I don't think the province has been going that bad. He's a bit of a wasteful guy, which is surprising being a conservative. He likes to uh, he likes to just make a decision and go with it, which I don't understand how he pulls that off, but he does. He does anyway. So it says in the paper that basically nothing changed. That's a bum rush, Beezer. Thank you, bro. So yeah, where am I now? How come you won't come back up on here? There we go. So yeah. So according to what we got, what am I on here now? Global News. It's a one of our last of our TV stations here in Canada. So they only campaigned for a month this time, and his big thing he ran that there's our winner, Mr. Ford. He um he campaigned to run it to do what he can to help with the tariff business so on January 28th, Premier Doug Ford triggered an election campaign more than a year ahead of schedule, saying he needed a larger mandate from the electorate to inject tens of billions into the economy if U.S. President Donald Trump imposes tariffs. Yeah, I know. You got here and wasn't even working. That sucked. But anyway, I'm glad I'm working now. I'm glad you guys came over. So that was it. The progressive conservatives, they got 80 seats. So they gained a seat. And the New Democratic Party, which everyone thinks is akin to socialism here in Canada, they're still the official opposition with 27 seats compared to the 28, so they lost one. And the Liberals they moved up to 14 from 9. So the Libs took a bit of a kick in. Even though they gained some seats, you know what I mean? They're not the official opposition. And the leader, Bonnie Crombie, who was the mayor of Mississauga, which is like right next door to Toronto. It's basically our second biggest city in Ontario. She didn't even win the seat she ran for, but she's going to stay on as leader of the provincial leader Liberal Party, she says. But I got a feeling she's going to go and try to run in the federal election because now we're going to have a federal. So next thing that happens is that the federal Liberal Party picks a leader. They're saying it's going to be that Carney guy, and then no, thank you, Kitty. Oh, I didn't see that one, Hardwire. A nuclear coalition against the U.S. Doesn't even make sense. I don't even know if we have nuclear weapons. We uh we got nuclear facilities to make hydro. Yeah, Doug. So Doug Rossi, you're Canadian, I believe, aren't you? Oh yeah, Steel City. So you're just an hour down the road from these guys. So Doug Ford's brother was Rob Ford, and he was the mayor of Toronto, and they had him on tape at a crack house puffing on a pipe while he was mayor. He was fucking nuts, but he was a funny guy. He was entertainment, good entertainment. Oh, you remember the Beachcombers, Beezer? They were fucking funny. That guy's name was Relic. I like that guy. Okay, Boomer, you're not getting none of my food, bud. Nah, kitty, stay until the food. Don't worry, the type of generous. We love to help a brother. Yeah, man, it's always tech, eh? War Gorilla. It's the only thing you'll ever see me stressing out about is tech. And for the most part, I understand how it all works. 'Cause I'm a technician in my life. But oh yeah, I just made myself a couple egg McMuffins. I think S&S saw them when I was bringing them in. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so that's what we got. We got the Conservatives back in power with a majority again, which everyone knew was coming. But it's his third time with the majority. So he doesn't have to argue with the other parties. Mm. Kitty, when I was in England, I loved the Chinese food over there. They had a deep fried, what was it, a crab claw? Oh, I can't get that in Canada. I loved it. It's crazy, eh? And if you plug this into that, it's all just supposed to work. Yeah, that's what happens, hardwires, when the Windows update come along. They must go back to factory settings or something. But I played with that for 10 minutes while Mike was ending his show, and it wouldn't come on. Like, the little bar that moves on StreamYard to tell you got audio? It wouldn't move. And it wasn't moving until you guys said, hey, you got audio. So I needed some people. You think, Doug, do you think honestly that very many Canadians would join the US? I think no, cowboy. It's a deep fried crab thing, man. It's wicked good. And this is the only place I ever saw it was in the UK on the Chinese food menu. Actually, it's the only place I've ever seen it. But anyway, Doug, I don't know. What do you think, man? Punch bar gonna move. Oh, I get it. See, if we join the U.S., like I say, there's as many good points as there is bad points. For me, the travel part of it would be wicked because I don't have to go get a waiver. I'm thinking about getting a waiver this year. And last I heard, they cost $6,000. I could buy a motorcycle for $6,000. So 46% of the conservatives would join the America. Mm. Okay, thanks, Kitty. Thanks for coming on over. I appreciate that. So, Vengeful Truther, and you're Canadian, aren't you, bro? I think you are. I thought you were in Alberta. And I thought Alberta, if there was a province that would break away, I always figured it would be Alberta. Like to go to the US. Now, Quebec has tried to break away from the country a few times. And then they realize that if they do, they can't afford to be a thing anymore. You know what I mean? Like they won't make it on their own, Quebec, without the rest of Canada helping. And see, I agree with you, Doug, on the home prices. But to see, it's hard to blame the government for the price of a house. I work in the building industry a little bit when I'm doing new homes with my HVAC trade, and no matter what, the piece of land is going to cost the same to the builder. I thought you were in Alberta, yeah. I've tried Alberta twice. So the piece of land costs the same to the builder, no matter what house he builds on it. So is he going to build a $5,100 home where he gets, his end to be 100 grand, or is he going to build the $800,000 home where he's pushing closer to $1 million profit per house he builds? Somebody had a good idea, and that was it. Hardwire, wasn't that the last time I went live? Someone had a good idea of doing a North American coalition and bringing Mexico into the fold. The only problem is with bringing Mexico in the fold is trying to clear out the cartels, because that's most of their economy. Oh, you are a builder, Doug. So you know what I'm talking about, right? Like you know what I'm talking about. The price of the lot, it's service, it's ready to go. It costs the same to the builder. There'll be a few builders usually on a new subdivision. At least that's my experience, and they buy the lots that they want, and then they price the house. If it's not a custom home, they're always building a 3 bedroom, 3 bath, 2 car garage, living room, dining room, walk-in kitchen. You don't need all that. Like, not everybody needs all that. And the price of land is made by the people with money, and that's what they caught Doug Ford on. Even though he won, he's oh yeah. And the guys from Michigan always used to come to Windsor, and the guys from Niagara Falls, New York, used to always come into Niagara Falls, Canada. But yeah, see, so yeah. Back to you, Doug. Sorry, bro. I jump around. So Fordsy got caught trying to sever off part of the protected Greenlands, which they protected years ago in Ontario, to remain farmland no matter what. And he got caught severing some off to sell to his buddies who are big developers, right? Because you got to be in the big boy club to be a developer. The contractor's one thing, but when you develop the whole piece of land, you're a step up there, and they're putting out a lot of money. But I think that they get all the loans and investment bankers, right? Come and get this thing together. These big parcels of land together and develop them and all that. And that's one part that I'm still worried about with the bring back manufacturing. We got to bring it back, but who's going to pay to build the new factory? Because we sent, how much of the stuff from Southern Ontario. My mom's boyfriend, call him fiance, common law husband, whatever he is, good guy, Frank. So Frank drives a truck with a specialty crane company, and they were bringing those presses out of them factories, loading them onto his truck, and he was taking them down to the shipyard, and they were getting sent on a boat to China, so China could build our stuff. So I don't know who the hell planned that out, but they weren't really thinking about the Canadian worker at that point, were they? I don't believe they were. I got everything all screwed up today. My camera's all over. Microphone don't work. Anyway, I don't care. I'm here. Hey, Todd, how are you, bro? I hope that you caught that interview last night. It was a good interview. Commandos, a veterans group out there helping veterans after they're done in the service, homelessness, getting them set up with the help, the government help that's available to them, all that good stuff. He was a good guy. We ran it for about an hour. Hour and 15, something like that. It was funny when we got off. He goes, "Well, you did the Red Rum guys for 2 hours." I was like, "Bro, that got repetitive after 2 hours." It was. I kept it on because we kept getting people from overseas, from New Zealand, and that who were in that club. So I kept it going, but it got repetitive. That's point of terror, is make it cheaper to make a new factory to make things here. Enough that the overall savings makes it worth it to them. But that's the problem. How can anyone in North America compete with free labor? We can't. During COVID, they locked them in the Apple factory. They locked the work. Like, we're not going to do that in North America. So I just don't know how they're going to talk to the companies into bringing our stuff back and getting us working again. Just a way of saying these guys, all the dough gets set the prices. I get pissed off. Try building land. Now you got to go to dude that wants house built. Land is half the price of the build. Right, and land never used to be that big, that much of the overall price. It used to be when I was up in Sault Ste. Marie. I need my camera to be up higher. They were doing service lots just outside of the city limits for $30K. So after $30K, you can still get a house on there and still make, the contractor can still make his $100,000 or whatever he has to make. Hate to bail so soon. Thanks for coming, Beezer. Appreciate you, bro. What's up, buddy? Yeah, sure. Oh, it's got to go in a big bag. Yes, that's a problem, Todd. It's all about so exactly, and that's the thing, Doug. Is once prices go up, it's been my experiences they don't come back down. Even because I was doing the new home builds when COVID started, and everyone was building in Ontario, and I live in London, and they were like doubling the size of our city, man, and it was wonderful. Everyone was working, even if you weren't a very good tradesman, you were working. And then COVID came, and they didn't make us stop building. I got out of there because I got a son who's autistic to worry about. I can't bring home a sickness, and so I got out of there because they had all the trades on top of each other at the same time. I couldn't do it, so I got out of there. But anyways, then as soon as COVID ended, all these prices are jacked up. There's no real explanation. They say supply chain. Our concrete's built pretty much down the street from the building site. Our lumber's cut down in BC or Northern Ontario. Our copper products are made in Canada and mined in Canada. So what supply chain? What supply chain affected the prices? That's what I always say, because they're blowing smoke in our asses is what they're doing. Tariffs offset the price. People miss the point of why they even started tariffs. It was offset the labor price to make prices comparable so American products can compete. That might have been what they did tariffs for way back in the 50s and stuff. But tariffs now are kind of, they're almost like a punishment. Like I think it's 100% tariff. I think Canada has it too on European cars, right? So that Mercedes that's sitting in that lot for 80,000 really should only cost us 40. And the last time that we put tariffs on China, bro, they went after our pork producers. I think they did in the States too. And all them guys couldn't sell a piece of pig anywhere, which was weird because there's lots of other countries other than China. I think another thing that's going to happen with tariffs hardwire is that they're going to do the workaround like they've been doing in Mexico for all these years, right? They're building it in Mexico. And Mexico was part of what was once called NAFTA, right? And it was just enough assembly because even every furnace I buy, every air conditioner I buy is all assembled in Mexico. Now, why couldn't they just slip it over the border and assemble it? They used to be all assembled in Texas and places like that. Like the whole world trade with all the bull about COVID. I think so too, Doug. So I'm bouncing between two conversations with Doug and Hardwire. But see, I think COVID, China set it on us because the Western world's economy was rocking. Our stock market, our market was on fire. Like I say, we're all building houses. We could afford them houses once they were built. And how did that change in 3, 4 years to we could afford them houses when they were built to now, if you're in your 20s and you want to save up a down payment on a house, you're going to live with your mom and your dad until you're 35 or 40? How did that change so drastically in a few years? That doesn't even make sense. Right. You know what else kills me, Todd? I don't mind working off the chat because I always talk to you guys in the other chats anyway. So I don't mind doing the show off the chat because it makes sense to me. And Todd, you know what else? Not one person who was running in yesterday's provincial election mentioned the homeless or the people addicted to fat or nothing. Not one mention. I'm classed as poor now. Fuck's sake, no middle class no more. That's where I am, Doug. I own my own HVAC company. I did 4 calls, 7 calls all of February, a whole month, 7 calls. How the hell am I paying my insurance, keeping my van on the road, paying my mortgage with 7 calls? I'll give you a hint. I'm not. And I can't even get mad about it anymore because I think I grew an ulcer. Yeah, I think it was pre-planned too, Dwayne. I honestly don't, man. Thank you for coming over, Tats. I appreciate you. What did I miss? I missed something. You are correct. Okay. Harley. Yeah, see, that's what they're doing with us here in Canada with the auto industry. Toyota built a couple factories. Good. It's good work for the people that get the jobs in them factories. Honda made a few factories. And I think, hang on, let me get this cough out of me. Damn skinny cigarettes. And but it's just assembly plants, right? We have a forge. I believe there's one in St. Catharines and maybe one in Windsor that makes like engine component parts, like the block or the pistons or the connecting rods or something, right? I didn't realize that they were assembling the Harleys in Mexico, though. That's interesting. Governments fly all over the world and the taxpayers have to pay for the vacation. That's what we have almost right, man. And they won't even share an airplane, Todd. They'll have to go on their own bloody airplane. Like, if you're from the same area, share an airplane. You can't be that vain, can you? And that's the thing. So I'm having a hard time with my personal shit. So I chopped some rooms into my house. Probably not quite legal, but anyways, and I've got a bunch of homeless people in here, and I'm trying to help them out as much as I can. A lot of them I knew from the past, from back when I was running the streets, and you know what I mean? Yeah, and there's a lot of school of thoughts on that too, is there? Because hey, Sport Brand, how are you, bro? Hey, Ghost Eagle, how are you, bro? Because the first couple times someone tries the rehab route, they uh, they fail, and then they can get looked down on for failing, or somebody can say, "Hey, man, why don't you try again?" Right? But then that's a lot of money, and someone's got to pay for all that stuff, right? Our utility stock, sorry, my went from where's my 150? Yeah, yeah. So we got all that in Ontario too, bro. So last time the conservatives had power in Ontario, I think it was conservatives. They sold our hydro company to a private company. Yay. They sold a highway. They sold a hydro company. I don't know what the hell they're thinking. It would be nice. Wouldn't it be nice to go back to the old days and you go and You put your stake around and you grab your your stick and you say, "This is my land," and that's it, man. You know, I think that'd be wicked cool. Let's get back at it like that. Hmm. Yeah, I guess failure wasn't really the right word, but it's a hard thing. I've gone through it. I'm talking from experience. It's a hard thing, especially those bloody opiates. Those opiates are a bastard. I don't care who you are or how strong willed you are. They're a bastard. Yeah, see, that's a thing too, Doug. I don't want, like, I don't necessarily want to do what I'm doing, but I'm in that spot, man. I'm in that spot. I keep thinking to myself, it'll turn around, it'll turn around, it'll turn around. Where'd I go here? The system wants to feel worthless and broken so they can control you. And see, Todd, so I'm kind of a thinking man, and I think about a lot of things instead of sleeping. So when I was younger, and I watched my parents, my dad was an auto mechanic, and my mother, sorry, his wife, until I was, you know, in my teens, was a stay-home mom. They got by, but he was an alcoholic, so they fought a lot about money, or maybe he was drinking. Who knows, right? And then you watch your parents go through it, and then the first thing they want you to do once you get a career is to get a mortgage. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Ghost Eagle. Yeah, there's supposed to be no borders either for you native dudes, hey? That'd be pretty cool. Don't be bitter, just do better and be the change. Yeah, that makes sense. So the first thing they want you to do once you get a career is to get a mortgage and sink yourself into a lifetime full of debt. And you know who's easy to control? Is the people that are in a lifetime full of debt. So you know that the dude's always going to show up for work, even if it's a job he despises and he gets treated like an asshole. He's always going to come, and so on and so forth. Then they get you to borrow money to buy a new car, and they've got you on the hook for the next 25 years of your life. And that was something I didn't agree with. So I dropped out of society for most of my life. I got lucky. I joined the 1% club and said, society, citizens, whatever, you go do what you do, and I'll just do what I'm doing. And that's how I rolled it. Yeah, I know. And now I came out of that life. Good for you, Ghost Eagle. I come out of that life, and like you say, I've got a son who needs me, and I have to be here, so I had to change, right? And we need a place to live, so I had to jump into the house market. I'm 50. I just turned 58 years old, and for the last 2 3 years, all I paid on my mortgage is some of the interest, right? So the only good thing is the mortgage insurance. So the kids are better off when I'm gone, sort of thing. Age will give you wisdom, but not in the physical no more. I spent my life savings in 3 years, 70K. Well, that's the thing, right? I spent all my shit right away too. I needed, and back then I thought it was a lot of money. I needed 30,000 down to buy my house. And now, if they're buying a house, they got to come back and have like almost 1 million in their bank. Thank you, Sport Brand. I appreciate that, bro. You know, blood's blood. You got to take care of your own. If you're not willing to take care of your own, I got to question you as a person. And that's kind of how I feel about the poor guy's mom. It is what it is. But anyways, he's my boy. We live together. We have our own thing going on. We all do good together. And my daughter just came home for a few days. She's living in the Caribbean. She works for Club Med on Turks Caicos. So she came home and spent my birthday with me and took me out for dinner and stuff. And then she turned around and went to Costa Rica for a week. And then she's going to come back to Canada and go back to Turks Caicos until the summer. Then the shipping route to go to France. So I encouraged her to get out there, early 20s, get out there. Don't try to be me because it didn't even work out that well for me. So it won't work out for you. You go be you, and I love you, and become who you're going to become. And I'm very happy I did. She's becoming a brilliant girl. I'm so proud of her. So not we own nothing in this world. We live on borrowed time, and tomorrow I'll promise you history. Tomorrow's mystery, and today's present, and it's a gift. Yes, you are correct, bro. Because especially in the motorcycle world, we see a lot of our friends and stuff. They were here yesterday riding beside us. I take care of our own. Well, that's it, Ghost Eagle. If we don't take care of our own, and see, that's my biggest concern. They just went and they closed down because it wasn't government funded, and it relied 100% on government funding. And there was a little place, I think, it had 6 or 8 apartments for people with special needs. Some were autistic, some were whatever, but they all lived in this place. They got a month notice and saying, "Hey, you guys got all moved because the funding ended," and that was it. Thank you, Vengeful Truther. I appreciate you, bro. Like you, bro, been connected people I made money's with, but I'm preaching. Right. Yes, that's it, man. So I had to change. And you know what? That's a hard change to make, man. You know, when you can pick up a phone, make a couple phone calls, and come home with a stack that day, that's not a bad day. Anyways, those days are gone. That's it, Todd. That's why I wrote my book. That first book all about the time being in a 1% club because it's not for the weak of heart. I'll tell you that. It's fast, it moves quick, it's exciting, but it could also leave you in the ground or in prison, which is pretty much the same. And then the worst thing is, after you've accumulated all that from doing stupid shit. Yeah, that's true, Doug. I understand that too. I just would like to have a motorcycle under my ass again this summer. You know what I mean? Not last summer. No, it was the last summer, right at the beginning of riding season. I had to let the thing ride down right away from me and broke my heart. You got to have that wind in the face, man. Got to have that. Yeah, it is a fast life, isn't it, Dwayne, bro? And so that's what that book's about. Move fast, live fast, ride hard, ride quick. Don't give a fuck and do it. Just do it. And that's what we did. That's how we lived it. That's what that book's about. And it ends with me getting out of jail. So it starts with me getting into the club and it ends with me getting out of jail and retiring. And that was kind of that, right? So, anyways, I'm gonna do a quick look at this map. I guess it doesn't really matter. We swayed a lot from the election now anyway. But see, down in my little part of the world, these maps suck balls, eh? Down in my part of the world, I think that it stayed NDP. It's a very strange city. It's either NDP or it's blue conservative. But that's how it went down here for those Olympics. Yeah, full circle, bro. And you know what? I don't mind it because at least I got to live that life and I got out without doing a life sentence or having a funeral for me. So I kind of feel that was an accomplishment, to be honest with you. Yes, yeah, yeah. So back to the Canada joining the States. And me too, man. You know what I mean? Get on down there to Arizona. I can fix ACs through the daytime. It's hot down there. There's got to be lots of busted air conditioners and go ride my motorcycle around, man. That's what I think. You're right, Todd. The only thing we have is each other. And people don't know that anymore. That's a win. Yeah. Yeah. And I made it, bro. Thank you. Lurking cause trying. Typing is hard at this point. Charles, you made it, bro. What time is it over there now? You gotta be like 4 or 5 in the morning, you know? Are you drunker or did you run out? That's the worst is when you're on a good bender and the booze runs out, isn't it? It's like, what happened? Huh. They won't show me. Oh, I see what they're doing here. I want to see what happened in London. Because, like I say, it's always been an NDP stronghold. There's Kitchener. There's London. So we only got, what do we have in London? 4 ridings. And it looks like one went to each. No, looks like we stayed NDP pretty much in London. Interesting. But we got the Green Party in Canada. I don't know if it stands for weed yet, but you know. You know what? It was one of the hardest things. I think I understand what soldiers go through. 5:08 a.m. You're kicking it good, man. And stepping out of that club life, because I was one of them guys that I did it. I did it full on. You know what I mean? I didn't fuck around about it. The guys were my brothers. The club was my family. Club first. Everything else is second. That's I did it the right way. What I'd like to consider the right way. And stepping out of that, man, that was that was a big shock to my system. Even my wife at the time said, "Well, what are you going to be now?" I'm so I'm going to be Bob. I don't change. Just the clothes I wear change, and the people I associate with change. That's about it. But yeah, it was a weird one. That's a good point, Ghost Eagle. Feel it's something. Take it as a learning curve, grow from it, and stand tall, man. Yeah, you see, not everything that you don't have correct the first time is a failure either, is it? It's like you say, it's a learning experience. One lady in somewhere it's dusty and hot, say Arizona, like the Northern California. Yeah, man, that's what I'd be into. Go hang out with War Gorilla down there in Nevada. He knows what he's doing. Yeah, I know, right? What do you mean the bag's empty? Call up so and so. That's what I always used to do. Yo, man, get over here. Emergency. I'm a fucker. I muted myself that time. Sorry, guys. I muted myself so I didn't cough in your ears. Oh fuck. Keeps life interesting. Well, you went for a good roll. You're almost your sun's got to be coming up down there, and it'll be 6 in the morning. So you can watch some more. Nothing like watching the morning news when you're hammered and maybe a little of that stuff up in your nostril, and you're like, what the fuck are they talking about over there? That's it, man. And this is a step to the right. Oh wait, I don't know if we can sing about transvestites anymore in this day and age, man. Remember that? Remember the Rocky Horror Picture Show? You take acid or mushrooms or something and you go watch a Rocky Horror Picture Show and they threw hot dogs around in the movie theater and all that crazy shit. That was hilarious. Cash we can make our trades and shit. The cash where we live. Our birthday and logo once you get some trust be okay. Yeah. I still think it'd be a fun time to go try. Like you say, you got to trade. I got to trade. Go down there and work our trade until our bodies won't let us no more, and then ride motorcycles. That's the biggest part for myself personally about joining the states. Is that we circled all the way back to joining the states hardwire. If you're still here, but there are some pluses to it, and the dollar's actually worth money, and I just don't know if I could be part of a country and get behind spending more of the federal budget on military than anything else, man. Oh, there is no morning news on Saturday. What kind of outfit are they running down there, Charles? What the fuck? They don't got no BBC down there? You can find out what's happening in Britain. That always weirded me out that South African people have a British accent. That always tripped me out. Me and the boys would trash and watch old James Cagney mob movies. Yeah, that's a good one. The guy who brought me into the club, get a load of this one. He was a funny fucker. Yeah, he's deceased now, unfortunately. But we spent 2 3 years as roommates and besties and all that shit. We spent a lot of time um, driving around and telling stories. And he made me watch every Clint Eastwood spaghetti western only for the one liners that Clint would say in the movies. Like, there's what was it, the outlaw Josie Wales, and the bounty hunter comes up to him and he looks at the kid and he goes, "You a bounty hunter?" And he goes, "Gotta make a living." And he's "Well, dying ain't much of a living, kid." Like he did have some beautiful one-liners in the movies. But that's what he made me watch. Well, that's pretty crazy, Doug. I wonder if you can lean on that and get a dual citizenship. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? That was such a funny movie. That'd be interesting to see. Get a lawyer on it, eh? Make me a dual citizenship. At least then you can, like, I don't know what your personal circumstance is. I know for me to get across the border, I've done the, is that the one, Charles? I've done the pardon, so I don't technically have a criminal record anymore, but the Americans still have to make up their own mind whether they want me into their country or not. So I got to get a waiver. And like I say, last thing I heard, there were $6,000 or something to get a waiver. I have no trust, nothing else. I have no way to move forward after that. Yeah. And because, the club I was a part of it was an American club, I don't think it'll be a problem. But there could be, right? You never know. You never It depends on, I should probably do it soon because it depends on if the new administration goes through and starts talking about motorcycle clubs in the U.S. like the terrorist um, shit down there. Yeah, he is right, isn't he, Charles? 100%. You know what I mean? So I think this year would be the best time for me to do the weight. And yeah, man. See, I like talking to the chat off of an episode. It's not a bad way to do a show. I think I'm gonna do more like this more often. I came out with one idea, and we talked about a whole bunch of different ideas. The snake. Is that the one where they show up playing the banjos and then they got the rat-a-tat-tats inside the cases? Is that the Antonio Banderas? Is that the one? Dusk Till Dawn? Outstanding. So what's that mean? You didn't deal with it yet? Got to deal with it. That's the one thing I learned about courts and laws and all that and all that stuff. Deal with it, right? Deal with it. Get it over with. Staying on the lam is too expensive. And in the end, you still have to deal with it eventually anyway, because they took away all of our statute limitations in Canada, which I'm sure you know. Um, but if outstanding means it's still on your record, then you have to do the steps. I guess 10 years without any new charges or any new convictions, and go to John Howard Society. You know, them people that help people when they're getting out of jail. Go to John Howard Society and do the application. It's about the thickness of the Bible, and it costs about $600-700. Send it to the parole board, and they make you wait 1 year, and then they send you back the response. And coming from a guy who pled guilty to being a member of organized crime, I was kind of shooting dice, and they gave me a pardon, no problem. So I think that they're more willing to give them out than people realize. The government is organized criminals and they change the laws to protect themselves. Yes, especially, but not especially. It's not just happening now. It's not a new thing. I guess now we're seeing it more because it's more out there. The news media, not all of them cover it up, and there's so many more people doing the news on YouTube that don't have an agenda or anything to hide, right? So they can tell you what the facts are. You know, I've seen and heard some great. Oh, that was Desperado. Okay, okay. Oh yeah, I've seen that one too. Okay, that's one in the strip joint. That's where I worked for 12 years in the strip joint. You're seeing stories about. They said they wouldn't let Elon do anything that would affect his businesses monetarily, and they're claiming that he's canceling some Verizon contract with air traffic control towers to put in Starlink. So it's like right there. It's right there in the open. And if they cry enough about it, then they'll find a way to protect them and whitewash it. You know what I mean? He'll still get that contract. I did bro in Pontiac, Michigan. Lawyer called, said they're dropping it. I moved out west. They call back saying now the prosecution wants to try me. Holy fuck. No, no, I wouldn't come either. No, that kind of puts you in a bad spot though. Because now crossing the border is kind of out of your plans. Out of your plans. I wonder if we join countries, if they would fucking come catch you. Wouldn't that be something? Goddamn bounty hunter grabs you one day. Jesus. I'm not Canadian, but that shitbag Christy Summer. Yeah, see, and they came up with a way to justify that too, didn't they? So it's Chrystia Freeland, who's running for the Liberal leadership, which would mean that if she won the Liberal leadership, which she might, then she can run for prime minister on the next federal election, right? So they did the GoFundMe for those truckers, and those truckers, trust me, they're a pain in the ass. And most of the other truckers out there that work and have to cross the border just got a fucking shot and carried on. I know nobody likes it. You can't tell me what to do and put my body, but god damn it, if it keeps the food going on your table, I don't know if I cried that hard about it. And it was the American side that told us that our truckers needed to have the jab before we could get into that side. So as the Americans mandated it to the Canadian government, who had to mandate it to the truckers. But anyways, so then when they got all the GoFundMe money, no, that's true. Yeah, they could fly you to Detroit. And they started the GoFundMe. She made up some crazy lie about because it was donations and most of it wasn't coming from Canada, she could freeze it. Unbelievable. And now I think I've heard that they got to do an audit because nobody knows where that money went. They froze it, and apparently after a while, it disappeared. How fucking convenient is that? Yeah, we could have one of them too, Ghost. Everybody, stand to attention. I think God's on land. Well, that's it, right? Get everyone stand to attention. Religion and politics are different beliefs and different laws. Well, that's why they should keep religion out of politics too, which is another thing that kind of got me a little bit leery of what's happening down south. Is they want to squeeze religion into politics, and I don't think that's I don't think that's a wise idea. I really don't. And it'll end up being, where some people get excluded from things because of their beliefs. I go by a simpler system. I just don't. I just don't buy in any of those organized religions. You know what's right and what's wrong. You don't have to go to a church and give them money to tell you what's right and what's wrong. That's what I say. I get that. I had to get it, or my kid had to move out. Works with disabled house. I shot fuck my lungs. I took 2 of them. Again, more for my son. I don't care. If you get me sick, I don't stay sick. So I took the first 2, and so did he. Um, it didn't change it. I don't feel any different. But you know what? I've been sick a lot this winter. Are you done? Are you done down there? My dog's insane. Can you see his little nub wagging just under the? Ha! See his little nub going there? He's such a weird dog. Funny fucker. Yeah, money broke the system, and greedy people broke the system. And every time, you hear talking about, geez, if these guys are billionaires, after a whole fuckload of money, we're going to start taxing them. And everyone starts screaming about, oh, they're raising taxes. They're not raising my taxes or your taxes, for God's sakes. They're raising the guy's taxes that's a month's worth of interest earnings in their bank account. You know what I mean? And I take the shot. It's not even a flu shot. I feel better without them. I've never had a flu shot, Ghost. I feel good cool in pencil out of Detroit. Got some of my buddies off. Oh, you got a recommendation, bro. If you ever do get picked up down there and taken down there, right? Morals and values are priceless. And again, I don't believe you need to read a Bible to understand. It's inherent into us. I think it should be inherent into us to have morals and values already built in. So you felt unwell too, Charles? That's weird. Don't fight with family, fight for family, protect children, protect family. Absolutely. I pray like ghost eagle burning my sweet grass and sage Mother Earth is my God and her place my world and everything. And I pray for it too. Ah. So you're native, and I find I didn't really understand natives and religion because I find native people are very spiritual. Just we had a couple native guys in our club along the way, and the one guy his father passed, and he invited us out to the funeral, traditional native funeral thing, right? And it was impressive, man. It showed it showed how much they care about their own people, and it showed how much everything's connected with man and earth and all that. You know what I mean? It's an issue. Not the Wu flu. So I still think China's trying to attack the rest of the world with the virus. The whole time that we saw it on the news that they had this crazy pandemic going on in China, we watched all these bloody airplanes full of people flying to all the different countries of the globe. So they could have kept it there. Now, did the vaccine that they said to get that we had to take, was it more damaging? I don't know. It's a tough call. Like I say, and that, I don't know who mentioned it back there in the chat, but you're right. My lungs have felt phlegmy, heavy. I've coughed. I think. Well, you guys see me muting all the time. Yeah, I smoke a lot of weed, but anyway, I've been coughing for 3, 4 fucking months. So, had a decent guy, man, back there. Sorry, mine all goes back to mom's side. Couple generations Mohawk blood, and the Mohawks were the warriors, right? I believe. It's all in our upbringing. Yep, the values in that, Todd. Yep, I agree with that. Sports fans, I think a lot of us around Canada and the States, if we really dug far enough, what is it? Yeah, nobody does them anymore. Nobody will take them for measles anymore. And see, that's the problem. Everyone swings so far this way and then that way. One guy gets up there and says, "Oh, I wouldn't take these vaccines," and now there's a measles outbreak, which is something that was dealt with 100 years ago. So they all got to jump all the way from one side to the far on the other side. Cell phones, that'll be the next thing. Elon's going to do that. Apache Sioux Cherokee. You got a bunch in there. Is that down to your geography, where your people are from? Yeah, I wonder, right? And you know what? When I took the first shot, I just took an hour off work, because I'm self-employed, and went and took the shot, and then went back and finished my day. When I took the second one, I took an hour off work, took the shot, and within an hour, I was home shivering in my bed, I was like, stupid shot, man. I knew I shouldn't have bothered those things. Yeah, they got the shit in the air now and all that. So Australia's having a measles outbreak too, eh? And they finally had somebody die in Texas from it. It's it's a bit of a drag, man. It's a bit of a drag. What we got here? I'm I'm all British and Scottish, so you know, half of me wants to drink, but the other half wants you to pay for it, right? But I gave up on that shit too. Yeah, I got a Pfizer first one and the Moderna second one. And the Moderna one made me feel like death, man. I fucking hated it. Okay, this time I'll unmute you. Well, I don't live there neither. And same with Texas. And they only lost, like, I think they said one kid, and he's from the Mennonite community down there. And the Mennonites are known for doing their things their way, anyways. So it might not have had anything to do with the big vaccine conspiracy. It's just because Mennonites have their own health care, man. They don't do doctors. Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. That Moderna one made me feel like death. And we used to have a Pfizer factory here in London, Ontario, and there there's so many factories I can think of that we used to have just in my city, and they just shipped them all away. We had a place that made telephones, place that made transport trucks, place that made Ford cars, place that made Pfizer pharmaceuticals, and now we don't have none of them places. You know what we got now? Place that chops up chicken. Nobody wants to work in a chicken factory, from what I understand. And a place that makes frozen fucking pizza. Right on. We're kicking it, Dr. Rooker. And now all these jobs that you go get if you're bad, if you're in bad shape. If I'm in bad shape, I'll always go and defer and just go get a crappy factory job for a few months if I got it right. Now, if you want to work in the factory, you got to go through a hiring agency, and they skim a couple dollars an hour off you right out of the gate. So no matter where you turn or how you try to get it through, there's somebody beating you for a couple dollars of your hard-earned money, man, and that's the part that fucking bugs me the most. So back to the pandemic. How many people think it was? I think it was planned by China. I honestly do. And we all know it didn't come out of no wet market. But I wonder if they handled it all correctly. I guess that's a part that nobody will ever know 100%. Did they need to lock all of us healthy people up? Was it necessary? Was it needed to basically shut down our economies and then give them the supply chain bullshit excuse to jack the prices up 1,000,000%? Was it worth it? I don't think it was. The steel plant. I lived in Hamilton a couple times. I've lived here and there. It's part of being a biker. You're pretty transient, right? I could see Tabasco's roof line from where I was staying in East Hamilton, in the old part of town. But those are it can be a hard job, eh? And I lived in Sault Ste. Marie for a while. That's their main industry in the Sioux. And if the steel plant closes, they basically going to shutter that whole city because that's it. That's what there is. And then there's the surrounding, industries, and then there's all the restaurants and shit that come with being a city, of course, right? We're not paid what we should be. They take out taxes and service fees, and then convene. That's the whole problem, right? It doesn't. It feels like, especially when you're trying to pull up that fucking ladder. Because I'll keep trying until they put me in the hole. I don't care. I got lots of fight in me. But when you just can't make enough money to make it get around to everything that you got to pay for, and it's not shit that you took on frivolously. It's not like you're buying an 8 ball every day. It's like you want to pay your fucking hydro and your groceries, right? I never caught the shit or anyone. See, and I never got any COVID neither. I never got any of that shit. So I think 2 shots and two and done was good. Or maybe I wasn't going to get it anyway. Like, who the hell knows? Yeah, that's the problem, sports, is everybody's out there. And then you go online and you're trying to buy something for your computer or something. The first website you stop at fucking robs you for your money. And then you finally get the right people. You know what I mean? Like every step along the fucking way anymore. And then the bank lends you money so they can have service fees. And then if you bounce the fucking payment, they get their NSF fee. And then, you know what I mean? It's like fee, 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 fee. Fuck off. That's what I say. Yeah, man. The last one. The very last one. I uh I still got, well, I guess I'm always gonna have it. It's a memorial tattoo for the guys. They were with me one night and they got themselves all shot down, these 2 guys. And it was like the most traumatic thing in my life, but it's what made me join the club. Oh yeah, yeah. No, I was in their clubhouse a couple times though. I remember those guys used to have us and the other guys come at the same time to a party because it was a neutral place. You know what I mean? To try to keep things from turning crazy like they did in Quebec. It kind of worked. Banks take out tax on money they don't make themselves. Exactly right. Like yeah, everyone's got their hand in your. I wake up in the morning. I check my bank account. The fucking thing's gone down overnight while I was sleeping. I didn't buy nothing. Where the fuck did it go? Yeah, we probably do. A lot of the guys from my generation are have passed. Crazy, eh? Yeah, yeah. That was a big night in my life, and it changed my whole life. It changed everything. You know, it changed me from being a pretty happy-go-lucky bee, which I'm trying to re-become again because I like myself better when I'm cracking a joke, to a pretty cold-hearted motherfucker for a lot of years. You know what I mean? Always had tools on me, always did what it changed me a whole 180 degrees. Trudeau legalized medical deaths, and that's first degree murder and doctor planting life. That's premeditated murder. So what do you think, Todd? Do you think if you're in a where do these guys live now? A hostel? Is that what it's called? And a life? And you're not really functioning anymore. Do you think it's fair to that person to keep them hooked up to machinery? Because he's not really alive on his own merit. You know what I mean? He's alive, but if it wasn't for the machines, he wouldn't be alive. So there's kind of a two sides of that coin you can look at too, right? So I'd say a person's alive if you can unplug him and he keeps going, he's alive. But oh, you remember that dog at the strip joint? Yeah, that was a big one. So you know what I mean? Like when my dad passed, they went to give him a dialysis. He had had a stroke previous, and it blew his heart out. Now me and my dad weren't great friends with each other, so I'll talk frankly about him. So my stepmom told my brother, "You better call Bob and tell him to get down here because I'm going to unplug him." And he's like, "Well, you better give him time to get down here." So I round up my son. We jumped in the car, and I was in Toronto, living in Toronto at the time. And like I say, once he was unplugged, they flatline. And so, are you really alive, or is the machine making you alive? That's what I say. Yeah, the maid stuff, Darwin. Yeah, because I don't know. I think if I was alive only via machine, I would prefer that my family let me go. That's what I think. Well, Trudeau, he stepped down as leader, so he can go back to Cuba anytime. Chrystia Freeland, she's a creepy broad, and she was his left hand man for the whole time he was doing his thing. I still find it's hard to blame a government for the economy, but I think in this case I can, because all the decisions he did them wrong, man. He did everything fucking wrong. But she was still functioning, right, Doug? That's what I say. Like if you're still functioning, and I think cancer might be a different beast, then yeah, you're still alive. Like if your head's still functioning, I guess if your brain's still functioning, you could call her and all that, talk to her daily, right? That to me isn't the same as like my dad was just unplugged the machine and he was dead, so he wasn't alive and his brain had stopped working too. Yeah, he's good at making money, but he's good at making other people's money. Did you see what he did with that meme coin? He screwed over his own people, man. I find that's, you know, they all knew that meme coin wasn't going anywhere. They all knew. Is that where you are, Todd? You're in PI? They say they can't get nobody to move there. I just watched a thing on the news about that. Oh, that would be Ghost. I see a lot of bike clubs do a lot of good things and raise money for a lot of hospices all over the country up here and probably down there too. That's what I like about this channel because it's I'm trying to bring out what what all the good stuff is that good stuff is that us bikers do for their community. Like I said over in I can't remember whose chat, Mike's chat this morning or Dragons. I'm joining a club. I'm in the process of joining it now. I interviewed him a couple weeks ago from the North American Templars. I'm going to join that outfit because they help kids and they do. It's not just raise some money and hand it to some agency. These guys raise their money and use it themselves. And, they've told me all the things, the steps and the shit I got to do along the way. And it's going to be big. And I think it's worthwhile. And, and that's sort of stuff that realistically more bikers are doing stuff like that than they are out there doing the rah stuff I used to do. Pants are optional. And so that's what I'm using this channel for. Last night I did the veterans motorcycle club there. They're across Canada. 10 years. They're on their 10th year, so they've made it as an MC. They're not a diamond club, but they are an MC, and they got a 3-piece patch and all that. And they're mostly consisted of veterans from the Canadian Forces. Yeah, it is big, isn't it, Doug? I really didn't give Ghost Eagle enough time on that statement, did I? It would be a tough job working up there because everyone who's in there knows that that's their last stop. But I guess once you get your head around that, you can figure out what you're going to. You can be cranky about it, or you can be thankful for the time you had, and you can be definitely thankful for all the people who are there working and doing their part, right? Because that can't be a fucking, like you say, it can't be an easy job at all. Okay, my friends, I think I'm going to wrap this one up, man. You know what? You guys were a pleasure. You guys were a straight pleasure. Yeah, where is that Crucible guy? Fucking weirdo. See what that guy does in his debates? He picks a little point that you say and he throws it back at you, twist it a little bit to make you look like a fool. And then when you're trying to correct him on something that he said incorrect, he talks over you until you get pissed off. And once you're pissed off, you can't have a debate. And that's what I say. I don't really like that guy. I liked him when I saw him take apart that stupid bodybuilder guy from jail, that Wes Watson guy. I love that part. But then after that, he's like, look at this fucking guy. Oh, good. So you hang out with the Red Rum guys. That was a really good interview, and they talked about it was the chapter that got hit by that truck in northern Alberta last summer, and we talked about that, man. So I thought that was really cool. PayPal. I do have a PayPal. I think I can put it in the comment. I'm just gonna open my PayPal on my phone. And whatever it tells me it is, I think that's what it is. Isn't that how it goes? What am I? How do you do it? There it is. Oh, there it is. Okay. That's an easy one. Oh, did I put that in the right fucking place? Of course not. Rookie. I'm a fucking rookie, guys. But you know what? I dig doing this thing. That's what it says I am on PayPal, bro. Just add Bob Jarvie. And again, where was I? I can run down the last of the chats. And like I say, it was a pleasure hanging out with you guys today. Thank you, Mike, for bringing everyone over. I like it when we start on one subject and then we cover a whole bunch of different ones, man. I thought that was wicked. PayPal doesn't like you, bro. I've had issues with PayPal in the past. But I appreciate that, Doug. And anything at all is is very appreciated. And we can also do here. Let me get this one. For e-transfers. I better put them in my description, eh? Next time Mike brings the booze, you got that one. Oh, Mikey's still here. Again, thanks for bringing everyone over, Mike. And thanks all you guys for hanging out with me for so long this afternoon. Again, it was my pleasure. And we'll do it all again next week, guys. I'm going to keep coming on after Mike. So if you're around, cool. We'll chat. All right. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Thanks again. And we'll talk to you soon. Good night. It was good sports. Thank you.